What if Earth was discovered by the Galactic Empire? What would happen? An Imperial probe droid lands in Alaska. Since it's flying around on somebody's property, it gets shot down and broken up for car parts, mistaken for fence drone. However, this does not go unnoticed. Its last location is received by the Empire. A few days later, a lone Imperial Star Destroyer drops out of hyperspace to investigate the disappearance of the drone. There is no known rebel activity in planet Earth in unknown space, but best to investigate. The Imperial Star Destroyer finds a thriving human population while bringing under the Empire's dominion. Their presence is not unnoticed, and a wave of transmissions are directed towards the Star Destroyer. Meanwhile, the Star Destroyer moves into low orbit in order to better conduct surveillance. The Imperials don't use communication so primitive as radio, having long since moved to superluminal technology. However, their advanced sensors do detect the radio transmissions, which are quickly demodulated as a basic frequency shifting regime. Thus, communications are opened. The Imperials are surprised that such an advanced world doesn't have a world government, instead still being engaged in internal conflict. However, when their demand to submit to the Empire is transmitted, a rather expletive-ridden response of negativity is forthcoming from all world leaders, except for Emmanuel Macron, the President of France, who surrenders unconditionally. As a demonstration of power, the Star Destroyer fires a turbo laser barrage at a small, seemingly unimportant city to the north of the planet. Hiroshima is totally leveled, yet again. This prompts a barrage of rockets launching towards the Star Destroyer, conventionally. Initially thinking that these were the world's respective factions sending diplomatic delegations to surrender. They are surprised when the rockets make a suicidal approach to the ship, realizing that this is some form of a weapon, although point defense eliminate some of the incoming barrage of wave of nuclear explosion tears across the shields of the Star Destroyer, which momentarily fails. The Imperial Star Destroyer suffers some surface damage from the nuclear fallout, but more significantly a devastating EMP rips through the ship's system. The only thing capable to this is an Imperial knowledge as an ion cannon. The turbo lasers are out of commission, and the hyperdrive is heavily damaged. Impulse engines are also unusable. Fortunately, as a fuel-saving measure, the Imperial Star Destroyer had entered orbit rather than using the engines to hover. So it's in a constant movement. With most systems heavily damaged, the Star Destroyer sends its garrison of stormtroopers to subdue the planet. TIE fighters are sent down to attain air supremacy, but Earth seems to have a capable air force. Even though they're incapable of spaceflight, their atmospheric maneuverability means that the TIE fighters are initially outclassed. Very quickly, a change in strategy is pursued. The TIEs will remain in the upper stratosphere, out of range of both jets and missiles. The few point defense cannons in operation of the Star Destroyer are used to support the TIEs, and slight air superiority is achieved. With the limited capability of force projection, the Empire begin their attempt at conquest. While making contact with the Imperial fleet, a troop craft is sent to the city known as Berlin and are faced by paramilitary forces. The stormtroopers are undoubtedly the superior fighting force. Paramilitary forces fight them in street-to-street battles, and they keep them who they never surrender. This draws out full power of the stormtrooper garrison, but while the intense firefight is going, the SAS sneak on board the shuttlecraft. With them, they have the suitcase nuclear weapon. As soon as the shuttlecraft returns to the Star Destroyer, the activation signal is transmitted. While the outside of the Star Destroyer can resist a nuclear attack, the interior cannot. It blows up from the inside. A couple of more days later, a large mass drops out of hyperspace. And this time, it's no moon. It's the Death Star, the space station. With Admiral Tarkin would definitely be interested in the planet that could down an Imperial Star Destroyer. With such crude space flight capabilities, they might be useful. At the same time, they successfully resisted the Empire, and that cannot be tolerated. So, the demise and the destruction of Earth has begun. Click like if you liked today's video. Click the red button to see more of the videos, and hope to see you next video.